Per usual, everyone on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Macro Monday on Christmas week. Probably not a lot going on across the board. A lot of tax loss harvesting type of behavior. So let's run through the gamut and see what we can see. For the most part, commodities, stocks and rocks, as they say, doing great. Digital rocks, not doing so great. Not yet, at least. Looking at global asset flows last week from CoinShares, essentially negative $1 billion. And the past, 10 weeks, basically what you'd expect. You know, it looks like the faucet for money coming in has stopped 10 weeks ago. And that's kind of how it feels. Just not much going on at the moment. If there's one coin, not Bitcoin, not ETH, not Sol, not Ripple to trade, it's still it's still Monero to me, basically because this risk reward is quite favorable, as is the risk reward on Tesla and Reddit. It's just looking for these opportunities and being in the room when it happens. This is a multi-year attempt. It's got lots of risks. It's got cup and handle stuff going on here. Who knows if it gets anywhere close to wherever this is, but I like the setup. So I'm in on Monero. 3350 Metaplanet is another one on the crypto side. I just like the chart. I don't care about DATS or Japan or MNAV or anything. Doesn't matter. I don't care. I just don't. This is a great looking pattern to me. And if it can get into the cloud, even better. So I like nibbles and opens and buys around these levels. Not financial advice, but just thinking for myself, what would I do here? Haven't bought yet, but will throughout the week. And it's like this or MSTR, this or BTC, this or BMNR. I think it's no question. It favors Metaplanet. Another one no one's really talking about. It was up today quite a bit. KULR. I don't know anything that's going on with their Bitcoin strategy, but this was another DAT that has been in a year-long downtrend trying to escape the channel. I don't think it's a today trade, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Going into 2026, Iran broke out a little bit today. I think you got some time on this one. Plenty of room for upside again. What are you looking for here? You're looking for just stupid risk reward, right? Your risk is downside new lows. Your reward is 126 plus. So yeah, I'll take that all day. Not favorable on the cloud, but it is one of the leaders of the data center AI trade. So if you're not Jim Chanos and you think that stuff has some legs yet, I think Iran's a good place to think about that. And then Hut today up a bunch on a Google contract that was announced, I think, last week. But just like REMX at the end of the video, like, what is this TA wise? It's just a vanilla bullish TK recross price above cloud. It's a reconsolidation after a pullback. We can ascribe all sorts of narratives and AI and whatever, but this is also favorable for trend continuation. So on the week, what do we have schedule wise? Really a bunch of nothing, as you'd expect. It is Christmas week, GDP tomorrow, probably the most important thing. But other than that, even into New Year's week, not much going on. So probably nothing in the markets substantially going on until the 5th, and probably a lot of just chop and nothing until then. Rates wise, haven't really moved. If anything, no cut has gone up a little bit. I think this is severely underpricing a cut, especially if the labor data comes out worse than expected. Not just saying that because I want things to be bullish. This just feels a little closer to like 4060 than 2080 to me. Inflation is also curling down a little bit on trueflation, which is what we want to see. This has been super volatile, but it has been rising over the past 8 to 10 months, finally starting to curl down. So that's what we like to see on the real-time data. And if we look at the government's data, their CPI numbers were well below expectations. So I don't know how real those are, quote unquote, but it does look like PCE, based on their numbers, is ticking down. Core a little bit mixed. So we're headed in the right direction. I think that's all you can ask for. Is this enough for a cut on the next meeting is the question. Probably not. But if these numbers come in well under expectations and unemployment is rising, then yeah, that's ammo for a cut. It's helpful that gas prices continue to go lower. Oil continues to go lower. This is a multi-year low for oil, for gas. And other inputs like used cars also just kind of flatlined here over the past 2 years. So even though the price level is still quite high, the inflation aspect has certainly come to a screeching halt in a lot of areas. In some areas it hasn't, but that isn't really the problem anymore. The problem is the price level. The problem is we're not seeing deflation. We're seeing inflation just sort of slow down significantly. GDP, like I said, we're going to get some report tomorrow. It does look like this is going to be in the 3 to 4% range, which again is not a recession, folks. Definitely not a recession. And on the liquidity front, despite global liquidity making new highs, thanks to a weak dollar, which I'll get to in a second, not seeing that on the Bitcoin side. And just a quick check on reverse repo, definitely running on fumes. Just, it's basically dead. If we look back all the way to 2020, it has fully round tripped all of this. This is just a measure of excess liquidity going in and out of the ecosystem that's parked at the Fed overnight. A lot of that coming back into markets out of banks helped fuel assets in 23 and 24. And now we need some new fuel on the liquidity front. Maybe that's stimmies, maybe that's tax refunds, who knows? But for the crypto side of things, we are not seeing any benefit on liquidity yet. We're not seeing any benefit from the dollar holding this range and this level. You'd expect BTC to be doing a lot better if the dollar looked like this, but it is not. There's still a possibility that this could curl up above 100 in 2026. Definitely not threatening that now, but if this were any other chart, you'd say, okay, yeah, maybe come back, revisit if this can get back above 100, but this is no trade zone for the dollar right there. For equities, collectively, everything looks fine. There's some obvious bearish stuff on some of the Mag 7, but as a whole, the S&P, this was sort of flirting with, is it a diamond top? Is it a head and shoulders? Is it just a vanilla TK breakdown on the cloud? But like a lot of stuff, it has fought that off. It has fought off some gross down days here. And you have a bullish TK recross price above cloud. I mean, that just speaks for itself. After months of chop, standing and running in place, this looks good again. All the more reason for crypto to not look as bad as it does. Q's the same. Bullish TK recross price above cloud. This tried to stab into the cloud multiple days after a massive rally and just can't. So is it the best place to put your money? No. Is it the worst place to put your money? Also no. It looks fine. It looks fine. And until this fully rolls over, it's not bearish. So yeah, valuations might be high and prices might be stupid, but trend looks fine. IWM also looks fine. Bullish TK recross price above cloud. Those are not bullish words. Those are very, very bullish, those are not bearish words or bearish scenarios. Those are super bullish. Even on the Mag 7 ETF mags, despite looking like a head and shoulders, it looks like it's going to negate that. And you could say the same thing for the SPY. You could say, well, this is a clear head and shoulders, but if it makes a higher high, a new all-time high, can you be bearish at an all-time high? No. So this is also a bullish TK recross price above cloud. What's wild to me, if we go to the Mag 7, most of these look not great. Amazon flat, Nvidia flat, not a trade here for me. And then Microsoft, Meta, and Netflix all look horrible. Netflix looks like a bear flag breakdown closer to BTC than anything. Microsoft, you could argue maybe it's trying to bottom, but it's a little early. Google still looks okay. Apple rolling over a little bit, but Tesla looks amazing. Tesla is the Monero of the Mag 7. It is making a new all-time high shortly here after a cup and handle. Looks great. So if you had to pick one for the year, it's either going to be Tesla or Google. Now Google's up 2x from whatever. All this other stuff doesn't look like there's anything there for me. And if we go to SMH, again, like these are the big ETFs that are leading the risk assets, fought off months of potential bearishness, months of breakdown consolidation risk. Can it still break down? Sure. But considering where it came from and where it's been, it looks quite amazing to me. So there's a possible trade in 26 for Nvidia. If this can get back above the cloud with a bullish TK recross, why not? Why not punt along on that just to see, just to be in the room where it happened, just in case? A bit early for that, but something to watch into 2026. And there's stuff like Reddit, which I tossed a couple days ago, but I'll be back if it can get above 240. Just absurd targets because of the drawdown. And it's similar to IREN. Are these targets real? I don't really care. But the point is, if it can reconsolidate twice and not go lower, I'm all for it, right? So pick a narrative. AI, I don't know, like whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. I already talked about all the COVID darlings yesterday. Zoom, Rivian, Figs, Peloton, Roku, all those still look really good to me for breakout potential, continuation potential in 2026. The rest of this software stuff just kind of looks ho-hum, and it doesn't look great. And this is IGV. We've got Hack, which is cybersecurity. It's kind of running in place here. Really nothing to do. And then on the commodities front, somebody pointed out this one, YCA. Very clean multi-month, year plus inverted head and shoulders here. And it's part of the hot narrative. And then lastly here, REMX back at it again. Bullish TK recross price above cloud. Cannot complain. This is what you want to see after a massive move and a reconsolidation. So to me, that's where the market's at. The market is trying to keep the previous leaders, whether that's narrative or government money or whatever. On the legacy side, those seem to be setting up again for a move in 26. That's all I have for this one. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Happy trading.